Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a being so incredibly gifted, so profoundly devoted, that they ascend through, what, 7 heavens?
That's right, becoming revered by angels themselves, their name basically synonymous with piety.
And then picture that same being falling from grace, becoming forever cursed, adversary for all time.
It's a huge fall.
How does such an unimaginable transformation even happen? It's a story that really tests our understanding of devotion, humility, and the subtle dangers of ego.
Well, what's fascinating here isn't just the dramatic fall, the end point. It's the intricate details leading up to it.
Right, the little
Yeah,
things.
the subtle shifts in how he saw things, the profound insights he gained, and then those critical internal decisions that ultimately shape destiny.
It makes you ask what truly defines devotion, and what are the hidden pitfalls, even for someone seemingly at the absolute peak.
Exactly. We often just see the villain, right?
Yeah.
But understanding the whole journey, that offers far more profound, resonant lessons for us.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into the extraordinary and, yeah, ultimately tragic story of Iblis.
And we're drawing from a fascinating source, actually. It's a YouTube video titled Ever Contender Jumma Convent and
Which translates to something like Iblis Shaitan's birth, education, and the real history of how he achieved superiority.
Precisely. And it gives this really granular perspective, getting into layers of his story many people might not know. It goes way beyond just that one famous act of defiance.
Okay, so our mission today.
Our mission is to understand the complete trajectory of Iblis's life, from his, well, unique parentage and incredible learning,
Which we'll definitely get into.
through his just awe-inspiring spiritual journey, becoming the leader and teacher of the angels, no less.
Teacher of Angels. We'll come back to that.
And then finally, tracing those moments of arrogance, that disobedience that marked his ultimate downfall. We'll look at specific events, even his internal thoughts, to see why his story is such a profound lesson.
So it's a more nuanced view, not just good versus evil.
Definitely. It explores the very nature of spiritual growth and, well, how it can go wrong, how it can get corrupted.
Okay, you'll probably discover some surprising facts about a figure often misunderstood, maybe gain some insights into devotion, knowledge, humility, things that resonate beyond just these texts.
It's a really compelling story.
So get ready, because this deep dive, it's going to reveal some genuinely compelling insights. Let's start right at the beginning. Iblis's birth, which, as you said, already sets him apart.
Indeed, the initial paradox of Iblis is really striking. He's known to us as the ultimate adversary, right? The personification of defiance.
Yeah, Shaitan?
Yet, he began his existence not as an angel, not made of light, but as a child of the jinn.
And that distinction is crucial, isn't it? Jinn versus angel.
Absolute crucial. Jinns, as a species, they're created from fire. Angels, from pure light. That's a fundamental difference in essence.
Okay, fire versus light. But there's more to it.
Oh, yeah. More importantly, jinns, like humans, possess free will. They can choose. Angels, on the other hand, are purely obedient. They're essentially, you could say, programmed to worship and carry out divine commands. No deviation.
So no choice for angels, but jinns have it.
Exactly. And this fundamental difference, the capacity for choice for both good and evil, that's the bedrock upon which Iblis's entire story is built. It gives immense weight to every decision he made, every path he took.
So his potential for greatness and for, well, disaster was kind of baked in from the start.
You could say that. It was woven into his very being because of that free will inherent in his jinn nature.
And his parentage, the source gets into that too, right? It's not just a footnote.
Not at all. It's described as this powerful genetic and spiritual blueprint. It really hints at the core of his being. Our source paints this vivid, almost mythical picture of his father, Kobes.
Kobes, okay.
Yeah. He was the son of Hamas, who was the fifth king of the jinns. And Kobes himself is described as having the terrifying form of a lion.
Wow, a lion. Literally. Or symbolically.
Probably symbolically, representing immense, almost primal strength. The source says he possessed 5 powers in his body, plus a cunning, shrewd nature, signs of intelligence, strategic thinking etched on his face, apparently.
Okay, so strong and smart.
And get this, Kobes was revered as the crown of sinful jinns.
The crown of sinful jinns, that doesn't sound good.
It immediately suggests a powerful lineage, maybe rebellious or at least highly formidable, a line that valued strength and perhaps self-determination over blind obedience.
Okay, so that's the father, a powerful, cunning, potentially rebellious jinn king's son.
Well,
What about the mother?
right, the mother, Nilbis. She was also the daughter of Hamas, the fifth leader of the jinns.
Yeah. So they were.
Siblings, yes.
Hmm.
Which points to a very powerful royal jinn line concentrated on both sides. Her appearance was described like a wolf, and her nature mirrored a wolf's characteristics.
A wolf. So wildness, cunning, independence.
Exactly, implying that wildness, an untamed quality, a certain predatory intelligence, fierce independence, all those wolf-like traits.
So, okay. Father.
Mm.
Strength, ferocity, lion-like. Mother. Cunning, wildness, wolf-like. Both from this powerful, maybe notorious jinn lineage. What kind of being do you think is born from that mix?
It's quite a combination, isn't it? It's not just biology, it's this fusion of intense, potent natures, a forging of characteristics.
Perfect storm, maybe.
Perhaps. The source explicitly states Iblis was born from fire, the jinn essence, and inherited these combined formidable traits. Power, cunning, fieriness, and an inherent strength of will.
Right.
It's not just biological, it's deeply spiritual and psychological. This triple entity, his fiery jinn nature, the father's lion traits, the mother's wolf traits, it profoundly influences his character right from birth.
So even before any education, any worship, there's this inherent predisposition towards power, intelligence, independence, maybe even arrogance.
Exactly. Self-reliance, certainly. Maybe those early seeds of arrogance were there.
Hmm.
It's not just a birth story. The source presents it as his genetic blueprint. It lays the groundwork for both the tremendous potential and the tremendous pitfalls that defined his existence.
It implies he was sort of designed for greatness, but also carried the seeds of his own downfall, largely because of that free will mixed with such powerful traits.
Precisely. And that inherent intellectual fire, it became apparent very, very quickly.
Because his father, saw this potential, didn't he, and made a decision about his education.
A crucial decision. He entrusted Iblis's education to his trusted friend, Sarbuk.
Sarbuk. And Sarbuk wasn't just any tutor.
Oh, definitely not. The source describes him as expert in all knowledge, Sarbo Bidya Paradorshi, a master of basically every conceivable field of learning.
Wow. So Iblis got the best education possible.
Absolutely. This set an incredibly high standard. We're talking comprehensive, advanced education from a true polymath.
And Bliss lived up to it.
Lived up to it, he shattered expectations, he was utterly extraordinary, a true prodigy, described as extremely intelligent, Odashoy Matabi, and possessed an exceptional memory, Smriti Shakti Shampana.
Exceptional memory. Wait, how exceptional?
The source is incredibly specific, and this is just remarkable. No lesson needed to be repeated for him more than once. Whatever he heard once, he remembered forever.
Wait, never needed repetition? Remembered everything forever after hearing it once.
That's what it says. Total, effortless, permanent recall. Imagine the sheer volume of knowledge he could accumulate with that ability.
Can you truly imagine never having to study, never forgetting a single word, absorbing everything perfectly, permanently the first time? That was Iblis's reality.
Apparently so. It's almost unfathomable to us, right? We struggle just to remember where we put our keys.
Tell me about it. So this kind of raw intellect, it must have inspired awe, especially in Sarbuk, his teacher.
It certainly did. Sarbuk held Iblis in extremely high regard. He often told Kobes, "My friend, the signs I see in your son suggest he will surely become a famous person in the future."
I praise.
And he even declared, get this, from someone with vast experience, "In my 26,000 years of teaching, I have not taught a second student as sharp-witted and intelligent as your son Iblis."
26,000 years of teaching, and Iblis was the smartest.
Unsurpassed. That's not just a proud teacher talking. It's an assessment from a master educator spanning millennia. Iblis was leagues ahead.
That's astounding. Just,
Mhm.
wow. You'd think, okay, destined for pure, unblemished greatness.
You would think. But here's where that brilliance came with that unsettling caveat. A crucial, almost prophetic concern from Sarbuk that really foreshadows everything.
Ah, the catch. What did Sarbuk see?
This is such a critical moment. Sarbuk, with all his wisdom, identifies Iblis's greatest strength, intelligence, memory, talent, but also with chilling accuracy, his fatal flaws, he says. But the unfortunate thing is, your son is excessively ill-mannered, Beodob, arrogant Ohankari, and intensely self-willed, Beishan Ekoan. This is not good for his future.
Ill-mannered, arrogant, and stubborn, even back then.
Even back then. This isn't just Sarbuk noting some youthful flaws. It's presented as a prophetic warning that frames the whole story. It raises that profound question. Can talent and devotion, however huge, really overcome these deep character flaws?
Can that raw intelligence work if it's not tempered with humility, with self-control?
Exactly. The irony is incredible. This being destined for spiritual heights carried the seeds of his downfall from youth, and his own wise teacher saw it and voiced it. It's almost like the source is saying knowledge and ability are vital, but true wisdom, lasting spiritual growth, lies deeper in character, in humility.
It's like that brilliant kid who thinks the rules don't apply because they're so smart. That seems to be the early IBLEES.
That's a good analogy. The Bayadab in a Hankari nature manifesting early. And the source makes it clear his fate wasn't just some sudden flip. It was, in many ways, tied to these traits Sarbuk flagged.
Which sets the stage for a huge change in his circumstances.
Yes.
Rescue.
Right. So, fast forward. Before humanity, Earth was ruled only by jinns. But, as often happens in these narratives, they disobeyed Allah, filled the world with sin, caused chaos. No prophet to guide them.
History repeating itself, kind of?
Seems so. Seeing this corruption, Allah commanded the angels to descend and destroy the disobedient jinns, saving only the good ones. A massive divine cleansing.
And IBLEES is caught in the middle of this.
Right, and it's in this cataclysm that his path takes this completely unexpected, miraculous turn.
This is where it gets really interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely pivotal. During this annihilation, IBLEES was just a child, described as handsome, Sudarshan. And the angels, these beings of pure obedience,
Who were there to destroy.
exactly. They felt this unprecedented wave of compassion for this child. Moved by his appearance, his helplessness maybe. It wasn't strategic. It seemed like pure empathy.
Which is unusual for angels in these stories.
Very. They actually sought Allah's permission to spare him and raise him themselves. An extraordinary request given their mission.
And Allah's response.
Allah smiled faintly, Mujki Haslan. Such a subtle, beautiful detail, and granted their request.
Wow.
So this single act of divine mercy, prompted by angelic compassion, literally plucks Iblis from destruction and sets him on an entirely new path, away from the earthly jinn realm towards something far grander.
A second chance. A divine intervention.
Completely. And what an incredible start this new path was. The angels took him to the first heaven, their home, and started teaching him worship, their ways.
And with his intellect.
He learned incredibly quickly, leveraged that talent, that memory, and then he dedicated himself, worshipped Allah for a staggering 1,000 years, just in the first heaven.
1,000 years of worship.
And the angels, remember, they're created for worship. They were genuinely astonished by his single-minded devotion and sincerity.
And we're impressed.
Understatement. They openly admitted he surpassed them. The source says they basically felt like, wow, we're made for this, but look at him. We can barely call ourselves worshipers compared to him. We need to learn from him.
Angels learning devotion from a jinn.
Incredible, right? They were so impressed they named him Kase, meaning the devoted one, the specially chosen one. It shows his profound spiritual capability.
Think about that. Beings whose whole existence is devotion, learning from him. So after 1,000 years in the first heaven, he moves up.
Onward and upward. The angels of the second heaven lovingly took him in, and he, driven by this unquenchable spiritual thirst, worshipped even more intensely there.
For another 1,000 years.
Another 1,000 years, and they praised him profusely, naming him Abed, the worshipper, acknowledging his deep commitment.
Kase, then Abed.
Then he ascends to the third heaven, worshipped with even greater single-mindedness and concentration, another 1,000 years, earning the name Wali, the saint, or friend of God. Each title marks a new peak.
So this pattern continues. Deeper devotion, higher heavens, new titles.
With astonishing consistency, with Allah's permission, fourth heaven, great devotion, another 1,000 years, named Saleh, the righteous one.
It's an escalation of spiritual intensity.
Totally. He ascends through all the remaining heavens, fifth, sixth, seventh, worshipping 1,000 years in each.
So that's 7,000 years total.
7,000 years of unwavering worship across the heavens. By this point, the entire angelic world is just filled with his praise. He finally reaches the seventh heaven, the highest abode, living in supreme happiness and peace.
It's an extraordinary trajectory. He learns from angels, but quickly surpasses them, not just in knowledge, but in the intensity and duration of his devotion.
It wasn't just going through the motions. The source emphasizes this deep, sustained, passionate connection that impressed beings created only for worship. It really makes you wonder, how much devotion does it take for a being with free will to transcend its nature like that, to become a master, even eclipsing angels?
And it wasn't just the time spent praying, right?
Yeah.
It was the quality.
Exactly. He absorbed and internalized all the customs, all the rituals. That memory meant he forgot nothing. The source is explicit. In a very short time, he gained so much experience that his knowledge now surpassed that of his angel teachers. Similarly, his amount of worship greatly exceeded that of the angels.
Surpassed his teachers
Mm.
in knowledge and worship.
And to drive home the sheer scale of his dedication, the text gives this powerful image. There wasn't a single spot in the seven heavens or on earth where Iblis had not prostrated.
Wow, that paints a picture. Total, absolute dedication.
It really does. Omnipresent devotion. This period is the absolute zenith. He's not just a student anymore, he's the master.
And the angels recognized this. They weren't resentful or anything.
Now, remarkably, they unequivocally recognized his superiority. Those who initially taught him now saw his profound knowledge, his unparalleled devotion, and realized, with genuine humility, they had more to learn from him.
So what did they do?
They did something quite extraordinary, a collective act of deference. They appealed directly to Allah.
What did they ask?
They said, basically, "O Allah, if you bring your beloved Iblis near your Arsh-i-Mu'alla, the divine throne, we could hear valuable counsel from him, learn so much, because he's acquired far more knowledge than us."
That's incredible humility from the angels,
Right.
acknowledging a jinn's superiority.
It really is. And Allah, in his wisdom, granted their request. Iblis was brought close to the Arsh, the highest point of creation, sat on a high pulpit made of yakut, a radiant ruby.
And his role there.
For the rest of his time there, he worshipped Allah and continually gave sermons and advice to the angels.
Giving sermons to angels near the divine throne.
It's mind-blowing. It's not just about worship now. It's wisdom, guidance, spiritual leadership. He became known by this incredible title, Teacher of Angels, Verständiger Shikok.
Teacher of angels.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in. That's the absolute pinnacle, isn't it?
Has to be. He's ascended beyond his jinn nature, beyond even the angels' inherent capabilities to become their instructor. Imagine the influence, the authority, revered, adored, his words considered invaluable.
What do you think he preached about?
The source doesn't detail the sermons, but you'd imagine, based on his journey, deep dives into divine love, the meaning of worship, maybe drawing from his own 7,000 years of experience, ways to deepen connection with the Creator.
That level of adulation, that constant reinforcement of his supreme status. How does that affect someone, especially someone with free will and those traits Sarbuk warned about?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Could it even subtly start to inflame that pride, that arrogance? It's a critical point. Such reverence could easily become a breeding ground for ego.
A very crucial question. And after this incredible peak, the story shifts back to Earth again.
It does, back to the jinns. Predictably, perhaps they'd multiplied again, fallen back into wickedness, filled the earth with sin, still no prophet to guide them.
It's a recurring problem.
Seems to be. And Allah, seeing this persistent corruption among these pre-human inhabitants, issues a new command. A unique test, really, for Iblis's leadership and loyalty, bringing him full circle.
What was the command?
Allah declared to Iblis, "O Iblis, I am extremely pleased with your worship and your obedience. Now, my command to you is that you go down to earth and guide your own kind, the jinns, to the right path."
Wow. A chance to use all that spiritual authority and knowledge to save his own people.
Yeah.
The very situation he was saved from as a child.
Exactly. A chance to prove his leadership beyond the heavens. Iblis accepted, but with a request.
Oh. What did he ask for?
He asked if he could return to the Arsh-i-Mu'alla every evening after guiding jinns all day. He wanted to continue his night worship and advising the angels.
Still wanted that celestial connection daily.
Which Allah granted, showing his favor, but it does suggest maybe a reluctance to fully immerse himself in the messy earthly task without that daily dose of celestial status and comfort.
So he goes down to Earth with great joy, the source says.
Yes, initially enthusiastic, devoted himself to guiding the jinns, poured his spiritual might into it, but it proved frustratingly difficult.
How so? You'd think the teacher of angels would command respect.
You'd think. But imagine going from that revered position, everyone hanging on your every word, to struggling with your stubborn kin, facing resistance, rejection. It must have been humbling. Or maybe infuriating for him.
Probably infuriating given his nature.
Likely. Despite his arduous efforts and hard work for a long time, most jinns opposed him. Only a small number followed.
That must have bruised the ego.
Severely, you imagine. The contrast is stark success in heaven, struggle on earth. He who swayed angels couldn't convince his own kind.
So what did he do?
Frustrated, maybe enraged, he returned to Allah and requested the power to completely destroy the disobedient ones.
Destroy them after being saved himself.
It is telling, isn't it? Allah heard his plea, sent countless angels to assist, along with loyal jinns. Some misguided jinns repented and were saved. The rest perished. Another cleansing.
And Iblis. Back to worship.
Back to worship. Free from the earthly task and its frustrations, he dedicated himself single-mindedly again. The source stresses. The number of his prostrations was uncountable. No place where Iblis had not performed countless prostrations. His commitment to worship remained this constant refuge.
It's like his default setting.
Yeah.
Relentless devotion. And then comes this really strange, ironic moment. The Lohi Mahfuz, the preserved tablet.
Yes, this is profoundly ironic, deeply unsettling foreshadowing. In his devotion, Iblis prayed to Allah, expressing this deep desire to see the holy Lohi Mahfuz. He felt it would bless and fulfill his life, let him glimpse the divine decrees.
He wanted to see the master plan.
Essentially. And Allah, the most merciful, accepted his prayer, instructed the angel Mikhail to take him there.
So he gets to see it. What does he find?
He gazes intently, scanning the divine script, reading the unseen decree. And he sees this chillingly specific prophecy. A servant of Allah will worship for 600,000 years, but will eventually disobey an order of Allah and be expelled from paradise. That servant will be known as Malun, the accursed, in the heavens and on earth.
Wow. He reads about this incredibly devoted servant who falls and becomes cursed. How does he react?
He wept, Kikid fell with profound grief, fell into prostration, and remained there, weeping and praying, for an astonishing 6,000 years.
6,000 years of prostration out of grief for this unknown servant.
An act of profound distress and empathy for this unknown figure destined for damnation. He truly felt the weight of it.
But the twist.
The twist. When he finally lifts his head after millennia, right there where he had prostrated, he sees a new inscription, Allah's curse be upon Iblis.
His own name, he must have realized then.
Incredibly, no. Still blind to its personal implication, he looks up and asks Allah, "My Lord, who is Iblis? Show him to me so I can duly teach him a lesson."
He wants to teach himself a lesson.
Yeah.
Oh, the irony.
It's almost unbearable. And Allah replies subtly, "You will soon see him." Still clueless, Iblis then stands there for another 40,000 years, reciting, "Allah's curse be upon Iblis."
Praying against himself. Without knowing it.
Exactly, actively cursing his own future self. It's profound, tragic unawareness. He sees it written, he says the words, but cannot connect it to himself.
Like a character in a Greek tragedy just sealing his own doom.
Perfectly put. And Allah pushes it further, almost one last test, one last chance for him to maybe connect the dots. Allah asks Iblis, "Tell me, what punishment should befall my servant who, despite receiving my endless grace, disobeys my command?"
Setting him up. What does Iblis say?
With all his conviction, drawing on his knowledge of justice, he replies, "My Lord, severe punishment and your curse should be upon such an ungrateful person."
He condemns the hypothetical servant, who was actually him.
Precisely. Then Allah instructs him, "Write this comment on a piece of wood and keep it with you. It may come in handy later." And Iblis dutifully immediately does so.
He literally writes down his own sentence.
He authors his own condemnation. This whole sequence embeds the tragedy within his own actions, even as he remains completely unaware. His adherence to justice for others becomes the standard for his own judgment.
So, after all that devotion, witnessing his own curse, writing its terms, something has to give. The arrogant Sarbuk warned about. It starts to surface now.
It really does. After millennia of worship, unparalleled success, this adoration, something subtle yet devastating shifts inside him. Those seeds of arrogance, self-will, they begin to sprout, fester.
Fueled by the success, the reverence.
Seems likely. The source describes his internal monologue, his kamutlav, the start of this ill intent. It happens sometime after the Lohi Mahfuz incident. He begins to think.
What kind of thoughts?
He starts thinking, there is no angel or jinn in the heavens or on earth who would disobey my command. It's a belief in his absolute authority.
Okay, confidence sliding into
something more dangerous. He thinks, my influence, prestige, power are now supreme. No one can challenge my authority. This self-perception of being unrivaled, indispensable, utterly superior, it becomes the bedrock for his fall.
And it gets worse.
Oh, yes. It escalates into the ultimate delusion. He thinks, in such a situation, if Allah were to, for some reason, retire or voluntarily declare, I'm retiring, the most qualified among you should take over, then surely I am the only one worthy I could perform it perfectly.
He sees himself as Allah's potential successor,
Yeah.
capable of running creation.
That's exactly it. He sees himself not just as the best servant, but as the only one qualified to take over.
It's a risk-taking arrogance.
But it spirals further
Yeah.
into outright betrayal, questioning Allah's power. Fundamentally, I am no longer weaker or less powerful than Allah in any way.
Whoa. Challenging the creator.
Directly. And then projecting his own ambition. With the influence I now hold, if there were any dispute with Allah, angels and jinns would undoubtedly take my side.
He thinks he could lead a rebellion.
That's the implication. It's the essence of hubris at its peak. He moves from servant to perceiving himself as an equal, even a potential rival or successor, believing he could rally creation against God. It's a shocking deviation after 7,000 years of worship.
It's terrifying. How could that constant praise, that success, corrupt him so deeply? It wasn't sudden, but this gradual slide.
Exactly. A corruption of perception. Belief in his own indispensability. It's the fulfillment of Sarbuk's warning. His amazing talent and devotion, twisted by ego, became the fuel for his downfall. The angels, only offering praise, gave no check to his swelling pride.
And the warnings keep coming, but he's still blind.
Tragically blind. Shortly after this internal shift, the angels see another inscription on the Law Mahfuz. Soon my curse will be upon one of my servants forever.
Again, the angels must be terrified.
They were, trembling with fear, wondering who it could be. Distressed, weeping, they go to their teacher, IBLEES, their guide.
Asking him to pray for them.
Yes, asking him to pray for their protection from Allah's wrath.
And how does IBLEES respond this time, the teacher of angels?
In this profoundly tragic moment, showing his arrogance, he responds with a dismissive smile. Tachler Scythe Muchkihes. That detail says so much. Utter certainty it couldn't be him. He crays. My lord, do not cast your curse upon any of the angels.
Specifically the angels.
Specifically, Allah accepts the prayer. The angels are saved. He saved them all. But
What about himself? He forgot himself.
yeah,
Or deliberately omitted himself.
the source says he forgot to pray for himself. This omission, fueled by hubris, by belief in his own untouchable status, directly leads to his doom. Self-centeredness blinding him. He assumed he was immune.
So by saving everyone else.
He inadvertently sealed his own fate. The curse had to fall somewhere, and he'd removed all other candidates, leaving only himself.
It's like the universe was screaming warnings at him.
Loud and clear, inscribed on celestial tablets, but he couldn't hear them for himself. Soon after, he sees new words near the arsh in bright letters. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan.
Another warning. Does he get it now?
Still oblivious, astonished, he asks Allah, My Lord, who is this wicked, sinful shaitan from whom one should seek refuge?
Serious.
Seriously. And Allah replies, that final, chilling, patient hint, you will soon recognize him. It's this relentless buildup. He's reading his own epitaph, describing his own destiny, and has no idea.
Okay, the stage is absolutely set for the final confrontation, the moment that defines everything.
Exactly. Allah then created a new being, Adam, A.S., in full form from clay, a new element, a new species.
Different from angels of light, jinns of fire, now clay.
And crucially, Allah directly taught Adam education and all the knowledge of the world. This wasn't just learning. It was profound wisdom, divinely imparted, surpassing even what IBLEES or the angels knew in certain ways. Adam's superiority in this context was clear, divinely ordained.
So Adam arrives, uniquely endowed by God.
Right. And the angels, recognizing this divinely bestowed superiority, performed Sida, the highest expression of respect to him. It wasn't worship of Adam. It was a direct divine command, a test of obedience, acknowledging Adam's status.
A test of hierarchy, obedience.
Precisely. And here it is, the critical moment of choice. All the warnings, the prophecies, the arrogance, culminating in this one command. Prostrate to Adam.
And IBLEES.
IBLEES refused to accept Adam's superiority, and critically, refused to prostrate to him.
Why? Just pride.
Pure pride. The core of his disobedience, as the source implies from his earlier thoughts, he, made of noble fire who worshipped for eons, taught angels. How could he bow to a being made of mere clay? He saw it as an insult, a demotion, an affront to his essence and achievements.
Not a test of obedience, but an insult to his status.
That's how his pride framed it, and the consequence.
Immediate.
Immediate, absolute.
Yeah.
Final, Allah declared, Get out, for you are a curse. My curse shall be upon you until the day of resurrection.
Just like that. After everything.
After everything. So the teacher of angels, the most devout, falls with one defiant act, rooted entirely in pride. A profound, tragic end to such an illustrious beginning.
It really wasn't just about refusing to bow, was it?
Not at all. It was the manifestation of all that accumulated pride, the belief in his supreme status, the defiance of a direct command despite all warnings, despite his own judgment written on that piece of wood. It's the ultimate failure of wisdom in the face of knowledge.
He knew so much, worshipped so much, but lacked that fundamental humility, that true submission when it mattered most.
Exactly. The contrast is stark. Immense achievements, but a critical lack of spiritual wisdom at the pivotal moment. The lessons are profound.
What a journey. From that fierce Jinn parentage, lion and wolf, through incredible intellect, 26,000 years of education, rising to teacher of angels. It's extraordinary potential.
Absolutely, a testament to what devotion and learning can achieve. But as we've seen, it's also that stark, chilling warning about unchecked ego.
The source emphasizes he really was knowledgeable, talented, a worshiper.
Undeniably, the source is clear on that, even while noting some imaginative details might be involved. The great lesson for all of us is understanding how this most knowledgeable and devout being defied Allah, becoming eternally cursed, deprived of mercy forever.
It hammers home that even supreme knowledge and devotion, without humility, without obedience,
Can be corrupted by pride and ultimately rejected. Piety without humility, knowledge without submission, can lead to the most catastrophic fall.
it really forces you to reconsider things. True greatness isn't just achievement, it's character, recognizing your place, willingness to submit even when pride screams no.
And it makes you think about true reverence, doesn't it? Is it just rituals, or is it the state of the heart? That willingness to submit, even when it challenges how we see ourselves,
Right.
looking beyond the external acts.
Right, into the internal landscape, intention, ego,
Yeah,
loyalty.
exactly.
So you've heard this real history of Iblis's rise and fall. And think about this. Iblis himself wrote down the judgment for a disobedient servant, the judgment that became his own.
Yeah.
If even the wisest, most devout can be so tragically blind to their own fate, what does that teach us about vigilance over our own thoughts? Those subtle whispers of ego, the self-deception that can creep in. It's chilling.
It absolutely is. How often do we, in our own lives, judge others' failings pretty harshly, while maybe overlooking the same seeds of arrogance or stubbornness in ourselves? The story of Iblis really challenges us to keep self-reflecting, to seek genuine humility no matter what we've achieved or how righteous we think we are. What stands out to you about this incredible deep dive? It's a story that just keeps resonating.
So many layers. Well, join us next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of knowledge, where we'll unpack more surprising facts and insights. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.